Hello. So I chose to do my presentation for CRJ 260 on school shootings. Things that I would like to discuss during the course of this PowerPoint would be the review of two different schools and the shootings that happened, what took place during those shootings, any information about the shooters themselves, as well as the methods that they used during their crimes and the outcomes of each crime, like the victim count, the way that the shooting ended, things of that nature, as well as school safety measures that were being taken by each school at the time of the shootings, as also changes that were made to each school policy due to the shootings that did happen at their schools. So the first school that I would like to discuss would be Columbine. That was a small town in Littleton, Colorado. It was a high school. This shooting took place in 1999. There were two shooters named Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. They pre-planned this shooting actually a whole year before it ever took place. It was originally supposed to be a bombing. They originally wanted to bomb the school, so they made two pipe bombs at their houses and they took them to their school, walked them inside, and planted them in their school cafeteria. They then walked back outside to their cars in order to kind of watch everything unfold after the bombs were supposed to have gone off at a set time around 7 o'clock that morning. As they were outside at their cars, they noticed that the bombs did not go off at the time that they had originally planned, so they then decided to walk into the school and just start their shooting spree in the library. That lasted for about an hour, and it took the lives of 12 students and one teacher, as well as injuring 24 other people before they decided actually to take the lives of themselves, ending in their suicide. During the investigation of this shooting, it was said that the teens targeted Christians, minorities, and athletes. That was later proven to not be true, and it was just all a very random shooting. They were also rumored to be part of a social outcast group called the Trenchcoat Mafia, who was fascinated with goth culture. That's here nor there and not really been confirmed or denied. There were some issues with the school safety at Columbine. First off, the principal, upon finding out from the counselor that there was a shooting taking place, he immediately thought it was a prank. That was an issue to me because anytime that somebody says there is a situation that's serious going on, I don't believe it should be taken as a joke. I believe it should have been taken as serious as it sounded, because while people were getting hurt or killed, it just could have been avoided if it was taken more seriously. Also, law enforcement was not trained to handle active shooter situations. They were trained to kind of stand back and secure the perimeter, was as much as they could do. During this shooting, they actually were trained to wait for SWAT to arrive for them to better handle this situation and defuse it. That took 48 minutes. It took 48 minutes for SWAT to arrive, and by that time, it had ended with the students' suicides. So, on to the changes that did take place after Columbine was drastic. This kind of laid the foundation for what we kind of do today as far as the things that happen regarding school safety. They did issue a zero tolerance rule regarding disruptions in their classrooms, talking out, fights, things of that nature, specifically just at Columbine. Um, Schools around the globe actually decided to do drills to teach students down from kindergarten all the way back up to high school, code red drills that would prepare them to kind of not fight back, obviously, but to try to stay safe in case of anything happening like that. They would go to certain areas in the classroom, depending on where they were, to kind of hide away from the windows. Teachers would lock their doors the best that they could, draw blinds in order to stay out of sight of any assailant that may be in the building. They also, for kids that maybe were younger and could not understand what was going on as well, they taught them songs to help them better understand that they would have to stay quiet, and if they weren't, that any intruder could possibly hurt them. Tried to make it as positive as possible for the younger children. Also, new training policies were set in place for various departments. They were then trained to actually, instead of stay back and not assess the situation, they were trained to actually be proactive and enter the building, find the threat, and eliminate it. So, quite literally, enter the building and search throughout the school until they could find the threat or multiple threats and eliminate them or diffuse the situation in whatever way they deemed necessary, hopefully ending in everyone alive and safe. The enforcement agencies and departments also would have, some of them would have blueprints of the different schools in order to be able to maneuver through the school better and know kind of what they're getting into, where do they need to go, where the shooter might be hiding, set up, things of that nature. The second school, fast forwards to 2016. This one was actually at an elementary school in Townville, South Carolina. There was only one shooter named Jesse Osborne, and this one as well was pre-planned. This one was actually set to happen 6 days before it actually took place. He started at home, killing his father. He then got his dad's gun, kissed all of his animals goodbye, and he stole his dad's truck and continued on to Townville Elementary, where he then shot into a playground full of children and teachers and injured a little boy who then died 3 days later, in the hospital, succumbing to the injury that he had from the gunshot wound, I believe, to his leg. During the investigation of this one, a lot of things were revealed about the way that his premeditation was confirmed. The shooter, Jesse Osborne, actually wanted to hurt a lot more people than he was able to. The online history was gone through by Anderson County, and it was said that he was on a Instagram board with sort of a true crime type of group, and they had conversations like about how and when it should happen. Jesse actually asked the group, should I shoot up my elementary school or my middle school? He also said to the group that he thought he would kill about 50 or 60 people. So we think that was his goal, is what Anderson County seemed to find out. There were issues with the school safety there as well. Mainly there was actually no resource officer on duty at all. That ended up being the main reason that Osborne did pick Townville Elementary, was due to the fact that they did not have a school resource officer, and he thought what better opportunity? However, he was stopped by a local armed firefighter. I believe he worked for Townville. And he just happened to be in the area and heard the call out on a dispatch and showed up and was able to tackle Osborne and wait until further help arrived. So that was very fortunate for that situation. As far as changes to their school safety policies, I could not find anything in my research that was concrete. Mainly going through the research, I found a lot of the political debates regarding the school policy issues, people having problems with the way things were handled that day, as well as being upset that nothing had been done recently after that, as well as some sentencing hearings. So, other than I couldn't find anything obviously or concrete about that. Today, schools still have shootings. That's never going to be able to be prevented completely. However, today the shootings are shorter, and they seem to be claiming less lives, and that is very fortunate. This is all just due to time and experience, unfortunately, and the different measures that schools are taking now with the drills and law enforcement having special tactics and teams to be ready to assist the situation better, and the way that schools handle their security now today. Thank you.